way we made Son of God was not to tell people how to feel or give them a sermon. It was to make an emotional connection and make them feel. And I think it's worked. The first time we had considered making the Bible series is because we saw a documentary which was coming out of the UK that was being proposed to do a documentary showing that God was an evil God, and using examples like the flood and the sacrifice of Isaac. And I guess it would be very easy if you want to do things with a slant to paint that picture. And we looked at it and Roma said to me, this is awful. We should really do a series on the Bible, a dramatic series. And our first thing was the whole Bible.
How could we portray the Bible in only 10 hours? And it required that we dig deep into Scripture and to connect the themes. You know, we ended up with 5 hours Old Testament and 5 hours New Testament. And then our new film, Son of God, which comes out on February 28th, which really was just focusing on the story of Jesus and giving us an opportunity to put Jesus back on the big screen where he hasn't been for almost 10 years since Passion of the Christ.
So the movie is very, very historically accurate and sensitive to get rid of any misunderstandings of the past. We haven't painted any character as one-dimensional.
And on the one hand, we wanted to show the story in its political and historic context, so it plays like a political thriller. You know, this three-pointed triangle with the Romans, the oppressive Romans led by Pilate, the Jewish authorities led by Caiaphas, and the disciples led by Jesus, all on this sort of collision path into Jerusalem with the ticking clock of Passover. And on the other hand, it's a love story because, you know, God so loved the world that he sent Jesus for us. And we get to see, you know, the journey that Jesus went on willingly, what he chose to do for us. And I think that that's the most profound thing when you see it on the screen. There was the feeling in our industry, you know, that's great, but who really is going to show up and watch that? And when the ratings were tallied, 100 million people showed up to watch it. It beat hockey in Canada. It was #1 in Hong Kong. We have a nation hungry for hope, hungry for God, and I think the fact that so many people showed up for the Bible series speaks to that. That was part of the intention we had in making this, not to hit you over the head with it, but to open your heart, you know? Because that's where all, you know, when grace has an opportunity to move in your life, I think that it comes in through the heart. And for us as filmmakers, part of the intention here was to present the story of the gospel to you in a way that might open your heart. And when your heart is open, anything is possible.